Report error appear to be a trivial task, but if you do not carefully analyze your system, you can go with security problem or by not giving the user the technical service the right information to report and solve it. In the early web API based in server code, the problem to send error to the web was not so complicated. The server managed the request to the API, and when an error happened, you could send the technical error information to the web server with all the information to resolve the bug, and the web server only send to the user in the browser a friendly information about the error. In this type of environment, you don't need to limit the quantity of information that your API send to the web server because the communication is only between the server, assuming the case that your services are in the intranet or you are using an encrypted protocol. With the popularity of the client-based web as Angular and other frameworks, the call to the API service is done from the browser directly. That means that if you continue sending the error information in the same way that is used in a server-based web type ASP.NET or NetMVC, the technical detail of the error is open to be discovered for a potential hacker in clear text in the browser, no matter what protocol you are used to protect the information. This situation is an important hole of security in our system.
One way to mitigate this is by sending to the browser client a friendly error and send to the logger the technical detail information. Of course, you can, when you are in developing mode, send the technical information to the browser, but this is very dangerous in production for the security risk that is involved. But how receive the necessary information to correct a bug in production mode then? One possible solution is creating a field that is sent with the friendly message to the browser, and store the same value in the logger system as part of the logger information. In this way, you can find in the logger the technical information about the error. Then link the error with a record in the logger can resolve without security risk the problem to supply the technical service with the necessary information to correct a bug situation in production. Let's see an example how to do this. Suppose that a section is raised in the microservice user. The system creates a timestamp and sends the technical information to the logger system and also send to the client browser the same timestamp and a friendly informational message about the error that includes also the name of the filed service. The user calls to the support center and gives it the error with the timestamp that identifies it. The support center sends an email to the developer in charge of the production error. The developer goes to the user microservice logger and looks for the entry in the given date time with all the necessary information to identify the problem. Other problem to be resolved is what type of HTTP error we will send to the API client. When the error is catastrophic, the logical selection is decoded 500. That's meaning that something that was not recuperable happened in the call to the API. In this case, it's easy to select send to the browser a friendly error linked with the technical error logged. If the error is recoverable by some action, then the user can do it using error type 400 that can cover error for data validation, access of data, or other similar tasks. In general, error 400 should be an error that does not stop the user to continue or correct the response to the service. The error message sent to the user in this case should be able to explain to the end user what happened and what action can be done to avoid it. Let's see both error in production and developer condition. An unrecovered error in production should only report that a catastrophic error happens. For two reasons. One, a security concern, and second, the user cannot do anything to resolve the error. That we can do is send a friendly error to the user with a timestamp and the technical problem to the logger system with the same timestamp. The friendly error sent to the user should be related to the logger entry through the timestamp, making easy the localization of the logger of the related technical entry of the error. In the case of development environment, we can simply send the technical error to the browser because only the development and possibly the QA team will be able to see the information. Also, we need to send also the error to the logger system and also maintain a relation between the error sent to the browser with the entry in the log. In the case of recoverable error, we can send information to the user that allows him/her to recover from the error that is in production. In the case of validation, for example, change a bug name or fill a missing fields. The decision to log this error in production can be optional. You can opt for logger that type of error. In this case, the recommendation is move the level of this type, the error, to war or info. In the case of error 400 in development environment, we proceed similar to production. In the case of the client, but we recommended to log this information in the logger system also. That is important in the development process to resolve a problem because bad requests to the API in the process for debugging. Let's see now an example of an error object that can handle the described scenarios. The first thing in this object is what we are using to link this object with the corresponding entry in the logger system. In this case, we use a timestamp to relate the logger system with the specific error in the time. The property should be required. This property should be required. Second, is to store the section generated in the case of 500 error. This field should only be filled in development mode and never in production. Then the field is optional. The third field is a friendly description of the error that will be sent to the browser. And the last field is a list to be used when an error of type 400 happens. Here you can send a list of validation errors that happen in the code. This list can be a code to identify the error and do a rapid localization of it in the source code of the program, and a friendly description that can be used to orient the user or the programmer about the error. Let's see an implementation of this in code.
This is the netcore project that we are using to our demonstration. And here we have the class, the error manager. This is the interface that we see in the previous screen. We have the data time that we're using to mark the code and also put this field in the logger to synchronize the error with the error that we send to the client to the error that we store in the logs file. And we're using also this as a section that we explained to see the technological error we put here or in the section, and a friendly description, and a last that is for the error for type 400, that if we can put a string of error that we can see. That's a simple code and the description. We can enumerate a different error for 400 error. For example, there are some variables so in request variable that we need to put in some state, and that are reported for the error for the code. Let's see how we use this in the code. In the startup for the error 500, using the configure manager, see the class that we created here uses the section 100, that is for 100 or 500 error. And we separate is production or no production environment. Is no production environment. We fold the debugger section property with the errors, and the description with the error message that we get from the section handler. Is this production? We only need we don't need to put the section, or we should not put the section, and we only put the description. It's a token created as to have the same information in the logger, to identify the information in the logger and a friendly message with to the user. Here is submit the part of the logger, and in whatever log you use, you should put the error manager data create as mark to be synchronized both error. And here where we send the error to the response, and that's it for the error 500.
Let's see now the code to manage the error 400. We manage there in the startup SAS file in configure service. We add in the behavior option, we using the option go and get the invalid model state response factory. That is the object that we can consult to see if there are some error in the state. These states come for how we declare the model, the class in our code. Any violation of the declaration of the in the class or in the property in the class does come here. Using the same object that we created for 500. This is the error manager object, and only here because it's error 400 we can create a loop, get all the error that exists in the model state and put its code and description in the error manager error, and created a list of error response. In this case we have the same error, the same object, only we use these fields to enter the error 400. We created the data type to link this error with some information that we can put in the logger, and we fill the rest of the object. Here is we need to put the logger, any logger that you use, and enter the information to log. And then we simply return a bad request object with the error manager back to the client with all the information about the error. In resume, you should not send in production technical error to the browser-based web style Angular. Instead of that, you should store the technical data of the error in the logger system and only send a friendly error to the user. You should send with the friendly message the possibility to link the friendly message with the stored information in the logger system. You should use always that is possible the same object to report all types of error. You should customize the object for the case of production and development environment. We arrived to the last page. You can find more information about our videos in www.avalonsoftware.com. If you consider this video was useful for you, please subscribe you in our channel. Thanks, and see you in the next video.